Travis Wayne Goodsell. There's the old primary song, "Do what is right, let the consequences follow." That's about making sure you do what is right and good so that you hopefully have blessings. If you don't have blessings as a consequence of what you've done, either somebody else has stepped in to cause pain and suffering for you, or you didn't do what was right. And it's the doctrine of consequences that is missing in the church. Because Mormons believe in a spiritual witness. And a belief has no consequences. You can't find out if your spiritual witness is good or bad, right or wrong. It just is, and nobody else can know about it, so nobody else can judge you. You know? And so what are the consequences of conference? It's now Thursday. I saw him yesterday. It's still somewhat continuing today, having to do with coronavirus. Remember, Nelson protected himself and the prophets as they had a small gathering for each session, whereas you guys were told to watch from home in your little family groups. So what are the consequences? A rise in coronavirus cases. A big rise. Conference ended up being a super spreader event. We're not out of the pandemic. Just because vaccines are getting administered to people doesn't mean it's over. We're not going down. We're hovering. And that was a danger that I saw during our shutdown here in Utah, is that Herbert wasn't doing a full shutdown. He let people decide whether their job was necessary or not. Their agency was supposed to guide them. Well, when you're extorting people to not get paid, or get paid and risk getting coronavirus, Utahns as well as Americans chose to risk getting infected. Because we couldn't rely on a steady monthly supply of money, could we? Let alone a supply of food at the grocery store. They just botched the whole operation that Herbert was all set and ready to go for. And he just failed to implement it when it all hit the fan. And I'm concerned because I saw that he was purposely doing that to us. It wasn't just a GOP thing. There was a deliberate intent to infect this nation. And Nelson was a part of it. And so following Nelson has resulted in infections and deaths. Those are the fruit of Nelson. He didn't even bother to try to follow the example of Moses with the Exodus. Had he done so, we would have had a completely different consequence, wouldn't we? He would have said, "I'm closing church. I had just contacted China They informed me of how serious it is. I am aware that there are cases here in America, and for the protection of Mormons throughout the world, I declare the church shut down until this passes over. The church will open up its bishop storehouses, which we've expanded around the world in preparation for this prophesied event by Joseph Smith in Doctrine and Covenants, section 45, verse 31. So you will not be forced to go to work. You can stay home and the church will take care of you. Nope. Those were not the consequences, were they? What would have been the consequences had Nelson done that? Lives saved. Mormon lives saved. Unnecessary deaths prevented. Nope. They were instead a part of it. So, just so that you know, the church also, I saw in the news, they're doing a PDF version of summaries of conference. Apparently, the online download of the talks are insufficient. I'm pretty sure they allow for PDF downloads, don't they? Let's check. Now that we're at 7 minutes. Do you even understand the consequences of having a God that does not ascend? Do you not understand how this consequence thing works for doctrine? Yep, there it is. Download, view documents. No, it's only an MP3. For the welcome message. What about Uchtdorf? No, only. Alright. So, they do not. You'd have to do a copy and paste onto a Word program to get a Word document or PDF version. Weird. Because you know they're not going to put in about how Nelson declares himself as the Antichrist. I'm willing to bet that's not going to be in those summaries. He may still have the taunt to ex-Mormons that you're lazy learners. You guys fell for that. I just did that video explaining about that. So, alright. This is why I do videos, guys. I am warning you of the consequences and then doing the videos about the consequences that I warned you about in advance. I was the one who followed the example of Moses and told you to stay home. Nelson didn't. And he's in that office of Moses, by the way, not Peter, James, and John.